Over the last several months, with so many of the articles and headlines and discussion surrounding Disney Star Wars being centered around the release of Ahsoka, it might have been easy for some people to forget there's actually other projects in development that we'll probably see within the next year or so. But unfortunately for some fans, they got reminded that yes, indeed, if you thought it was bad, it can always get worse. And when it comes to identity politics-filled garbage from Disney Star Wars, in all likelihood, the worst is yet to come with The Acolyte. The Acolyte, which is a series set a couple hundred years before the movies, led by Leslie Headland, the woke activist and former Harvey Weinstein personal assistant, who made it very clear that her identity as a queer woman is going to be at the forefront of this series, that Acolyte series. Fans were reminded that this series still actually exists when a leaked trailer from Disney Star Wars Celebration started making the rounds. Now, I was surprised when I saw that this was news, that it was the first time people were seeing it. I saw it back in April or May, whenever Disney Star Wars Celebration was earlier this year, because it got leaked at that point in time. But now it got put out there on a lot of different places. A lot of different people are talking about it and reacting to it. And as a result, Disney's issuing a bunch of takedown requests. So you can't really get away with showing it on a YouTube channel, or likely they're going to hit you as well. But I did think it was interesting because now, once again, it's reignited the conversation surrounding The Acolyte and had so many people reminded that, oh yeah, maybe the biggest woke piece of dog shit that has ever come out from Disney Star Wars, yeah, that may still be on the way. Leaked The Acolyte trailer declares this isn't about good or bad. It's about power and who's allowed to use it. And all along the way, when it comes to this show, whether it's the actors speaking, whether it's the showrunner Leslie Headland speaking out, it's just been warning bells all over. Just take a look. Remember some of this stuff. The Acolyte actress, Amanda Stenberg, who I believe is non-binary or something, claims the world of fantasy and sci-fi hasn't felt like a safe space for people of color. Yes, please play into the identity politics surrounding this. While you're cast in the lead role of this series, which happens to be a franchise that includes the likes of Billy D. Williams and Samuel L. Jackson, please talk about what a victim you are because of your skin color. What about this? The Acolyte's Jodie Turner-Smith claims show having a black lead is so groundbreaking, says Star Wars is about a man's journey. She's the one who talked about how Star Wars is such a patriarchy, and she can't wait to have more women in Star Wars. Yay, that's what she's excited about. Another actor, Charlie Bennett, absurdly claims he never believed he could play a Jedi because I was not reflected for so many times throughout these films in the past. It's just people shitting on Star Wars for not being woke or progressive enough and saying that they felt like they were victimized because of their gender or their skin color. Just give us a fucking break with this stuff. How many times you need to pretend that there's a glass ceiling you're breaking through? But of course, the comments of the showrunner, Leslie Headland, are the ones that stand out the most. This is somebody who couldn't answer the question, what's your favorite Star Wars movie? This is someone who wanted to make sure they hired people who had no idea what Star Wars was on their writing team for The Acolyte. And it's also someone who was straight up about the identity politics that are going to be in this thing. Star Wars, The Acolyte will reflect showrunner's own queer identity. Star Wars The Acolyte showrunner Leslie Headland plans to have her real-world experience as a lesbian shine through in the show's creation. And of course, she mentioned the same thing when she talked about why there's going to be such a focus on female heroes and villains in this show. Take a look at this quote. When I was a young queer girl, I was just hanging out with Ursula the Sea Witch. As a queer girl growing up, if you didn't identify with the heroes and the villains show up and they're all queer-coded, you're like, yes, that's me. Man, somebody who projects everything they can onto anything they see to make it for them. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? Headland also touched how this will affect the Acolyte's tone, hinting the show will offer a more arch vibe than Star Wars fans are used to. As a queer filmmaker, you're gonna see some camp in The Acolyte, inevitably. All of the people involved in The Acolyte, from the showrunner down to the actors, all of them can't stop talking about identity politics. And the trailer, listen, the trailer doesn't really reveal too much. I've watched the trailer. It's about 1 minute and 30 seconds long. It is very diverse. That is absolutely the case. Very diverse. And it's also set in the High Republic era, which has been a complete and total failure for Lucasfilm. But make no mistake about it. The Acolyte is eventually going to be here. And when it finally arrives, it might be the most heavy-handed, woke, identity politics-driven garbage that Lucasfilm has put out yet. And considering what we've seen from them, that's saying a lot. Interesting to see fans reminded today that this series still exists and unfortunately will still be coming out. Let me know your thoughts about all this in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.